So hello everyone, welcome back to the Codersarts. So in this video we are going to create a view model and repository class. In our previous video we have learned about what is basically a database and how we can create it. So in database classes we have created the student and student DAO and the student database. All the three classes are created in our previous video. So if you haven't go through it, so you have to first visit that video. After that your concept will be clear, and then after you have to create the other steps. So in this video we are going to create the repository and the view model class for our application. So what we have to do, it is basically nothing but we are following the MVVM model pattern. So it is basically architecture pattern that we are going to follow. MVVM is nothing but it is a model view and the view model. So we have created the model class. As we can see, it is a data class that we have created. It is our model and the entity as well, and we have to create the view model, and then after we have to create all the other one. So let's close all the tab, and we have to create one more package which is basically used for containing the UIs. So what we have to do, you have to just create a package name which is known as the UI. So we can just shift it here, okay, this main activity, and click on this refactor. Okay, as you can see, here is the refactor button, just click on it. Okay, so once the refactoring is done, you can see like in this UI thing, like you can see our one new package called as the main activity. So these are the basic thing, and in this UI package you need to create a one more class name which is known as the repository class. So we have to create a one more class which is known as the repository class. So let's give a class name which is the student repository, ZTORY repository. And in this repository we have to pass our DAO class for fetching the data from the local database. So if we are fetching some data from the from server, so we can also create the repository for it as well. So let's click on enter. Once you click on enter, you have get a class called as the student repository. So in this repository class you have to create a constructor which is in which we are passing some private variable which is private val student DAO. Okay, so this is the basically DAO class for fetching the data. Like if you're passing our API service or student DAO interface, so we can use both of them. So in our case we are fetching data from the local database, so we are just getting the student DAO. So now what we have to do, we have to get the all student live data. Okay, so how we can get it, we have to just create a val, and we are getting the all student which is type of a live data. Okay, in this live data we have to get the list. Okay, in this list basically we are getting the student. Okay, so we are using this student, and we need to initialize them as well. So what we have to do, we have to getting the student DAO dot get our student. So in this all student we are getting all the list of the data that we are getting from the user. Okay, so then after we have to write some more functions, some more suspend function for getting the inserting of data and deleting of data. So let's create the both methods fastly. So suspend fun, we are creating the insert, and we are passing this student DAO student here, and just write the body. In this body we are getting the student DAO. In this student DAO we are passing insert student, and we are passing the student here. So that's all for the insert function, and then we have to create a one more function called as the delete function. So what we have to do, we have to write some function which is known as the delete, and we are also passing the student here. In this delete method we have to write the body, and the student DAO dot delete student and pass the student here. Okay, so this is the thing, and we also need to create this student here. Okay, so we have created the both of the method here. As we can see, we have the student repository, we have the all student, we have the insert method, and we have the delete method. Now what we have to do is we have the two method here, like the all student that we are going to fetch from the repository to the view model by using this method. Okay, so this is the live data. Basically it is changes in the database, so it is directly redirected to the our UI. And this is the suspend function. Suspend is nothing but it is a keyword which can be used for the coroutine, because once we fetch the data, the other processor will be not stopped. So that's why we are using the suspend function by using the coroutines. So these are the things about the student repository. And then we have to create a one more class which is known as the student view model. So let's get started. So in this we have we have to do right click on there and just click on new and just click on the Kotlin class and files. So once you click on it, you have get the a form like for filling the view model name. So the name of the class will be the student view model, student view model. Okay, so we are using the camel casing here, and we are also passing the some application in this constructor. Okay, so once it is done, we have to pass the application here. Okay, and this is the application basically used for creating the view model instance in our main activity or any of the activity. So last we have to create some variable which is the private, and we have to use the val here. In this variable we are going to access the repository here. Okay, so this is basically student repository. Okay, and then we have to use this live model as well. Okay, so is there any error? We can see must be initialized or it's abstract. Okay, so okay, so first of all we have to extend some of the things here, which is the Android view model. In this Android view model we have to pass the application. Okay, so once it's done, we have to use the repository here. So what we have to do, okay, and we have to also create one more variable which is known as the all student. Okay, so we are passing the student DAO as well here. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to use first all student and then all students. So this is the type of live data. Live data. In this live data we are getting the list of student. Okay, so these are the things that we are initializing here. So then we have to use the init, okay, for initializing it, and we have to create the student DAO, basically val student DAO. Basically we have to use this student database dot get database, and we have to pass the context. We have to pass our application. Okay, is there something wrong? Yeah, we have to use this init method here first of all. Okay, and then we have to pass our application. Okay, so once we pass it here, Then we have to initialize our repository and the all student class. So this is the repository, and in this repository we are initializing it by using the student repository, and we are passing the student DAO here. Okay, we have to get the student DAO first of all. Okay, so now the repository will be initialized here. So val cannot be initialized, so let's remove this. Okay, so here we are getting the repository and here we are getting the all students, so we need to initialize the all students first. So all students equal to a repository dot all students. Okay, so we have initialized both of the variable here. You can see the repository and the all students. So in this all students we are getting the data from the repository, student repository. So now what we have to do, we have to just control A, control alt plus all for reformatting the code, and then after we have to write some more methods for inserting the data and for getting the data and for deleting the data. So let's write the insert function, fun insert. Okay, so we have to pass our student here, and then we have to write initialize it. Okay, so after initializing we have to use the view model scope. Okay, view model scope, view model scope. So this method is not present because we haven't used the library, so we have to initialize the library first, like for the view model library. So we have to get this life cycle and other libraries present in our build.gradle file. So just go to the click on the double shift here. Okay, and go to the build.gradle file, which is app label, and we have to initialize the both of the libraries here. Okay, once it's initialized, click on the sync now. So your Gradle is building here, as we can see. Okay, so as we can see, our Gradle is building. Okay, so here you can see our Gradle is building here, and we can just use it once the Gradle is built successfully. Once we click on build, we are getting all the libraries downloading here. Once it get downloaded, we have to implement one more library is called as Kotlin, so we can also use it here. Okay, so let's wait for few minutes. So here is some error you can see, like 1.0 is too new for the Kotlin 1.0. Please upgrade the Kotlin error. So if it is going to give provide some problem of library, so we can also fix it. So the most important thing about this learning is basically we have to learn about the upgradation of the version number, version code, which is very complex for compiling any type of application in Android. So like as you can see, we have getting the build successful message here. So once you click here, you can get this view model scope method. But for now, we have to click on sync now once again for implementing our coroutine library as well. Okay, so let's wait for a few minutes. As we can see, our all the libraries are written carefully and build is getting successful. So let's implement it. Okay, press alt plus enter, or you can just click on here as well. So once it is done, you can write our more code. So what we have to do when we use the view model scope, it is basically it is a coroutine type of function. So in this we can use our launch method for launching. Let's minimize it. dot launch. In this launch method we can launch our coroutine. So what is this? It is repository dot insert, and we can pass the student. Okay, so this is the insert method, and by this we can create a one more method called as the fun delete. Okay, and we are just passing the student for it. We can also initialize it by using the ViewModel scope dot launch. In this launch method we can get the repository here dot delete. We can pass our student here. Okay, so we have set up our ViewModel class, and we can set up our repository class here, and that's all for this video. In next video we are going to implement our UI home screen and the other implementation of the registry screen. So continue with us, being with us. Thank you for watching.